A dragonfly the size of a hawk. A millipede longer than a car. Real Earth. This was Earth 300 million years ago, 100 million years before the first dinosaur existed. Above the swamps hunted a dragonfly with a wingspan around 70 centimeters, a flying predator. On the ground, a millipede relative 2.5 meters long, the largest land invertebrate ever known. So, how does a bug get that big? The answer is hiding in the air itself. You've been told insects today are tiny by nature. That's backwards. The air itself decides their size. And 300 million years ago, the air was different. Here's the difference between you and a bug. Your lungs pull air in. An insect's body has no lungs. Air seeps through tiny holes and creeps through tubes inside, reaching tissue by diffusion alone. It works perfectly small. It fails catastrophically large. During the Carboniferous period, 360 to 300 million years ago, the air was supercharged. Forests so vast they buried themselves and became coal. Oxygen levels climbed to 30 to 35%, nearly half again richer than today's 21%. In that thick air, something extraordinary happened. Meet Meganura, a dragonfly with a 70 centimeter wingspan. Imagine a predator the size of a hawk. Nothing but compound wings hunting insects through the canopy. And below, our flora 2.5 years long, longer than you are tall. A segmented armored giant crawling through the undergrowth, eating plant matter decay. These weren't anomalies, they were dominant life form. The Carboniferous Earth didn't last forever. The climate shifted, forest dried, coal stopped forming, oxygen levels fell, sliding back down toward what we breathe now. As the air thinned, that biological loophole sealed shut. Giants couldn't be maintained, they shrank. The dragonfly you see today is the faded echo of something that once swam in the sky.
Insects breathe through tiny holes in their bodies. Air moves passively through branching tubes called trachea, reaching every cell. At thumb size, it works perfectly. But double the body length, and oxygen has to travel 4 times as far. The passive system hits a hard wall. That's the ceiling.
You might ask, why not evolve lungs like we did? Evolution doesn't redesign from zero. Insects would have to abandon their entire ecosystem, rebuild their circulatory network, reshape their body cavity, and rewire their entire physiology. For a body plan that dominated 300 million years, that's not adaptation, that's extinction.
Today, the longest insect alive is a stick insect reaching 56 centimeters. A modern dragonfly averages 15 centimeters. Arthropleura was 250 centimeters long. The giants never returned. But the descendants of those Carboniferous hunters still carry the same tracheal tubes, identical in design, just crammed into a frame 1/10 the size. That giant world ended 299 million years ago. Dinosaurs wouldn't walk the Earth for another 100 million years after that. Insects already ruled this planet for an entire geological era before the first dinosaur drew breath. The insects came first. They ruled alone. And when they shrank, they had no idea what was coming. So when a fly lands on your arm, you're touching a survivor of an impossible gamble. Its ancestors grew as large as physics allowed. When the air changed and that loophole sealed, they shrank. That downsizing saved them, and it's exactly why they're still here today, why they survived everything that came after.
You might think the answer is obvious. Why didn't insects just evolve lungs like vertebrates did? Lungs can move oxygen deeper into a large body. They're clearly superior for big animals, so why stick with tubes? The problem isn't that lungs are impossible. It's that the insect body is built from the ground up around its tracheal system. Tubes run everywhere through muscles, past organs, into every cell. To swap systems, an insect would have to rebuild its entire skeleton, its musculature, its nervous routing, its fuel distribution. Evolution doesn't scrap a working blueprint and start over. It tinkers with what's already there. An insect lineage that tried to rewire itself for lungs would face a brutal transition period. Neither system working properly, unable to compete. That path leads to extinction, not innovation. The real truth is harder to accept. Insects didn't fail to evolve lungs. They succeeded so completely with their tracheal system that changing it became impossible. Success itself locked the door. They were perfect for their size, perfect for their world. Then the Carboniferous ended. The climate dried. The coal forests fell silent and rotted away. Oxygen in the air began to drop, and the invisible ceiling that had lifted 300 million years earlier started to close again.
As oxygen fell, insects hit an invisible barrier. Tracheal tubes rely on passive diffusion, air slowly seeping inward through holes in their body. That system works brilliantly at small scales, but in thin air, it simply stops.
Insects could have evolved lungs like we did, but lungs demand a complete rebuild, new organs, new structures, a redesigned body. For an already successful design ruling the planet, that evolutionary path was never viable. Staying small meant survival. Here's the thing, that tracheal system wasn't a weakness to fix. It was a perfect solution. For 300 million years, it's been the most efficient respiratory design ever evolved at small body sizes. Insects still dominate today, over a million species. You don't rebuild a winning design.
But something was about to change the rules. Around 299 million years ago, the Carboniferous ended. Climate dried, forests fell, and the oxygen that had fueled the giants for 60 million years began to drop. It didn't happen overnight. It took thousands of years, but it was relentless.
As oxygen fell from 35% back to 21%, the air became too thin to support giant bodies. The tracheal tube could no longer deliver oxygen fast enough. The giants couldn't breathe. One by one, the largest forms vanished. Not extinct, just gone from the fossil record.
But here's the puzzle. If oxygen was dropping, why didn't insects simply evolve lungs like vertebrates did? Why stay locked inside a failing system?
Insects had already won. For 100 million years, their tracheal system was perfect. Their entire anatomy was built around it. Changing it wasn't an upgrade, it was a complete architectural collapse. Once an evolutionary path locks in, it doesn't reopen. Insects would have needed mutations that disrupted armor, tubes, and muscles all at once. But those mutations would kill them first. So they didn't evolve lungs. They shrank. Over millions of years, as oxygen fell back toward 21%, the giants simply couldn't sustain their size. The system that made them kings became their prison.
But the insect body plan didn't disappear. It returned to the size where it thrived best. Today, a dragonfly runs on the same 300-million-year-old blueprint. Tracheal tubes, armor, wings, unchanged.
But here's the hard truth about evolution. Lungs are just a bigger version of tracheal tubes. They're a completely different architecture. They require a circulatory system, a diaphragm, pressure mechanics that insects never developed. An insect would have to dismantle 300 million years of working anatomy to build something new. A modern dragonfly can change direction in a single wing beat. It can hover, it can fly backwards. Those abilities come directly from its lightweight tracheal design. Add lungs, add circulatory bulk, and that dragonfly becomes a slow, heavy thing, perfect for the Carboniferous, useless now. Evolution doesn't work by adding new systems on top of old ones. It works by tweaking what's already there. The insect blueprint armor, 6 legs, wings, tracheal tubes, is so efficient at small to medium sizes that there's no evolutionary pressure to redesign it. Efficiency is a trap. Here's the crucial fact. When oxygen dropped 300 million years ago, insects didn't fail because their bodies couldn't adapt. They failed because there was zero biological path from tracheal system to lung system without destroying all the advantage they already had. Evolution can't tear down and rebuild. It can only edit what's there. So insects didn't choose to stay small. They were locked into success. The same design that built giants in a high oxygen world became a survival guarantee in the modern one. And that trade-off the evolutionary insurance policy that saved them is still written into their bodies today. Here's the question everyone asks. Why couldn't insects just evolve lungs like we did? The answer is simple. You can't rebuild an engine while the car is still winning every race. Tracheal breathing has powered insects for over 300 million years. It never failed them once. At small sizes, it's flawless. No blood needed to carry oxygen. Air goes straight to muscle.
Evolution keeps what works. Lungs would mean tearing down a design that already rules the planet.
A modern dragonfly's wingspan barely reaches 15 centimeters. The largest insect alive today, a giant weta, weighs about 70 grams. Both are titans compared to their cousins. But next to a Carboniferous giant, they're toys. The difference came down to one molecule. During the Carboniferous, atmospheric oxygen climbed to 30, even 35%. Today it sits at 21. That richer air was the difference between possible and impossible.
Insects don't have lungs. They breathe through tiny holes called spiracles, and air flows passively through tubes called tracheae into their tissues. It works perfectly at small scale. But oxygen can only seep so far.
Why didn't insects evolve lungs like we did? Because evolution doesn't redesign a system that already wins. Insects have dominated for over 300 million years with tracheae. Lungs would require tearing the whole anatomy apart.
The next time an insect brushes past you, remember it carries 300 million years of unbroken success. A direct heir to an age when its ancestors ruled the earth as giants. If you want to see more lost worlds and the impossible lives that filled them, subscribe. The next one is waiting.
Because here's the strange part. Insects never needed lungs. Their breathing tubes worked perfectly for 300 million years. That tube system is superb at small sizes. Air seeps in passively, no heart pumping needed, no energy wasted. Evolving lungs would mean rebuilding the entire body from scratch. Evolution can't restart a design that's already winning. So the ceiling stands. In today's thinner air, no insect can ever grow past that limit again. But the dinosaurs that came after? What if they never died? That timeline is even stranger. Watch it right here.